Welcome back, everyone, to another Radio Free Cybertron review. This is my second review in a series of four for the 2015 Transformers RID Voyager Warrior line, which is their version or their new deluxe class. This took over the deluxe class. It's a simpler transformation. My previous video was Grimlock. He was actually a 10 step, and Bumblebee right here is actually only a 7 step. So Bumblebee is actually even easier than Grimlock. If you watched my Grimlock review, I really liked the transformation. It was really a satisfying transformation, and the figure didn't seem to really feel cheap because there was a lack of steps in the transformation. So it was really nice. One thing I will say is these packages, the actual bubble is taped around the whole, both sides. So you kind of have to tear up the box a little bit. If you're not careful, you may actually rip it like I did. I was just trying to get it open because there's so much tape on it. So also these figures have the little Autobot symbol on them, which is each unique to each figure, and apparently there's a game you can download. Everyone's saying it was trilingual packaging. This is not actually trilingual packaging. This is quadlingual packaging. So whoever said try, you're wrong. But anyway, you can download that game, and then you scan the Autobot symbol, and then you can play as that character. So I don't know if that game is available yet. I will check it out probably before the next review, which will be Strong Arm, the female Autobot character. So let's get into Bumblebee. I'm not going to do a size comparison because I did that in the Grimlock review. First thing out of package thoughts, Grimlock didn't have a weapon, Bumblebee does. Really cool blue sword, translucent blue. It's plain, it's a single color, but I like it. I think it works. The other thing is the bottom of his feet, he has no heels. So if you want to stand him up, you kind of have to lean him forward a little bit, because if he's leaning back at all, he's going to tip over. That's a little disappointing, but I guess it's not too bad. As far as articulation, his head is actually on a ball joint. His arms are on a ball joint post that allows for it to move up and down, probably due to transformation, of course, but it can also go out and in. He actually does have a waist swivel, which is nice. Then he has the universal leg, knee, upper thigh. So all the stuff we've come to expect. Now he can only put his leg back so far because of the top panel of the car on the back of his leg. So when you look at his back, he does have two giant pieces of car on the back of his legs. I mean, I guess it's not too bad. On top of the car is up here. The wings are kind of at a very strange angle. You can just barely see them. And they do adjust. You can put them whatever way you want. So let's get into the transformation. First thing we're going to do is remove this sword. And then it actually says to peg the legs together as your very first step. But I believe you have to be careful when you're pegging the legs together that you're also pegging the top part of the car together at the same time, just like so. And then you're going to flip the feet in, which they do flip in together because they actually are what tab together at the bottom. Then all you have to do, let's see, I believe we'll probably have to spin him around at the waist, and then his hands and arms just push in. And you can see the hands just kind of sit right inside the groove there. And that's how you know his hands are in the right place. Then you want to bring this back panel up, which is the back of the car. Looks like his head's in the way just a little bit. You have to make sure his head is pushed back. If you have it leaned forward, you won't be able to get this panel over top of his head. So push his head all the way back, and that allows you just enough clearance to get to make sure it clears his head. Then you come around on this back panel, and you're just going to pull that down, and the doors, get them as straight as possible, and they'll just slide over the arms. Just like so. This feels like there's a little bit more panels to play with and line up than normal. And then the final step, I don't like the way those doors are. The final step is to actually bring the top all the way back, and it just slides in. And then you have to clip it all together. There's actually a little clip that the door will clip on top of when the top comes back. And I'm almost wondering if I did this in the wrong step. The yellow actually matches up pretty nicely except for the top, because the top is a painted on yellow on top of this blue translucent plastic. So that kind of gives a darker yellow tone to it. But all the other yellows are actually pretty nice on this thing. It almost makes it look like it you know, what a convertible top would look like with the color variation. So there is Bumblebee in his car mode. His wheels are just all black. There's no paint detail, anything. No paint on the back for the lights. The front does get blue headlights, which is nice. And for size comparison, here he is with Viacon. So you can actually see he is actually bigger than this is the Transformers Prime Viacon, not the first edition, but the regular Viacon, which I believe, oddly enough, was also RID. So here's two RID cars, and they actually match up pretty well. Bumblebee is definitely bigger. So The only thing I don't think there's anywhere to store his sword. Yeah. Nope. God, it looks like they made it so the sword could fit in here, but it just doesn't fit. And it would be sticking out the front just a tad. Really thought there was a way that they were going to be able to work that in there to store the sword, but I just can't see any way. Oh, there it is. Alright, so there is a way to store the sword. There's these two slots right here. There's two clear slots actually in the sword that pegs onto, so you can store the sword in robot mode. I guess that actually kind of acts as a single exhaust out of the back of the car for him. So that's a neat way to store a sword, definitely. All right, so next up, the next review we have will be Strong Arms. So make sure you tune into that one.